I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Salaam Alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam Rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His last and final messenger. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu Alaikum Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. And family, just before we begin, we as Muslims, we don't celebrate no New Year's or anything like that. It has really nothing much to do with us. And we appreciate the New Year's because of the time we get off in terms of vacation and, family time and things that we were able to do some other, stuff, saying. But other than that, it really has nothing much to do with us. And what we see from the culture, because we are Westerners, we have many family who celebrate New Year's and whatnot. We see from the culture of the people is to, make these resolutions that they're gonna keep for about 2 weeks or so. Okay, and they're just going to, go back into their old habits or whatnot. But we at the Black Muslim Grassroots, we have been saying for a long time it is incumbent and obligatory for us to be in a constant state of accountability and leveling up because we got way too much work to do in the Black community for us to go back into the discipline deficit, particularly for us as Black men that we have been cursed with, so to speak. We cannot acquiesce to old bad habits and things of that nature, regardless of whether or not we celebrate the new year or not. And us here at the Feachaz, we have been doing this work, and I believe that the work is incredibly important that we are doing. We have been making differences in the tone of even how the people are speaking. Alhamdulillah for that, but we cannot just be complacent. And that includes even on this particular channel. So for us now here at the Feachaz, of course, we talked about for our day ones, we talked about for almost a year, actually over a year, actually, the situation of the late 90s and early 2000s with the invasion of foreign influence concerning the Salafi Dawah in the West and how it caused a lot of problems. It was suffocating and smothering and stifling, and on furthermore, it caused a lot of destruction, very destructive, in the name of Quran and Sunnah and understanding the Salaf. So we came out and we said, look here, man, what you doing ain't got nothing to do with that. Ain't got nothing to do with that. How does breaking up families and all that kind of stuff and causing all this havoc in the Black community have anything to do with Quran and Sunnah and the understanding stuff? And as a matter of fact, you are who you are. You're infiltrators. You're treacherous. We called them out for about a year. And then after that, we said, we're not going to do that no more. We're going to talk about explicitly, issues related to Black folk, particularly Black Muslims in the West, and more generally, Black people in general, right? And we're going to continue that tradition, inshallah. However, we have to level up our game, right? So we have to be more structured, and that's pretty much the direction that we're going. And why is this, right? When you consider the age of social media and the time that we're living in, and the folks that we are competing with, we are not competing with our own people here. Okay, we are competing with the enemy directly, and we're not even hiding that. We are in direct competition with the enemy. Y'all hearing me? And we have no fear of the enemy at all. And let the first thing that we call the enemy to is that they must fear Allah. They must fear Allah. And you're hearing it directly from us first. We see everybody on earth can sense there's something wrong with the world. It's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's an international thing. No matter what culture, language, country you're from, you can sense that the world is not well. And us living in the West, particularly as black people, we have so many outside apparatus that affect our community that we actually have a distinct advantage because we know our enemy very, very well. So, in the age of social media, normal social behavior has been altered and modified to mass produce predictable behaviors in controlled settings. So, if you look, for example, at what's going on in China and how they use social media, they have their own version of TikTok where engineering and science and math and these type of things are generated on that platform, training the young generation, gearing them up for to become useful members of their society. Whereas in the West, you have people living in the West in the same country, even though in the same country, they will have completely different broadcasts on their social media. What do you mean? For for example, black folks or black youth, oh, pardon me, on TikTok, for example, Instagram, and the older generation on Facebook or whatnot, they will get the most debaucherous, decadent, devilish media from all kinds of entertainers and social media uh, moguls, all kinds of rubbish. Like, your sexy reds, for example. And even worse than that, you have like your saucy Santanas and all this kind of stuff. And black TikTok is filled with this stuff, absolutely filled. And black children are watching this for hours and hours and hours on end. And if you go to the white social media platforms like your X's and your Twitters, and what are white folks getting? They're getting great replacement theory and look at how the white masses, are suffering under this racist system. They're trying to exterminate all the kind of nonsense and craziness. It's madness, absolute madness. Okay, but I digress. Okay, when we see our children in this day and age, right? Our children are being affected, and their minds are being warped and modified to elicit certain behaviors which are against their best interest. Okay. Whereas in China, and they're watching this stuff for hours and hours and hours. Okay. Whereas in China, by law, they get 3 hours a week of social media, the children there. Y'all hearing me? So our children, black children, are being socially engineered for decades now to be savages, okay, for decades by the enemy. And black people wholesale have accepted this decadent behavior as black culture, even though it has nothing to do with blackness or culture. This is something that is superimposed on the black community to elicit these types of behaviors. The black family has been decimated, no man in the home, and even if the father was around, the mother makes damn sure that he has little to no interaction with his children. Okay. No family structure, no sense of what is normal social behavior. Conflict resolution is solved through massive argumentation, over the top argumentation, violence, yelling, screaming, and all types of backwards behavior. Now in 2024, even before 24, but now it's 2024. In 2024, children and adults alike are given toys and trinkets in the form of cellular devices with social media apps to expedite the dysfunction of the wider society. So you heard me here say many times here that I might be on YouTube, but I'm not a YouTuber. Okay, it's true. I might be on YouTube, and if you look at the channel, it's kind of like on a dusty side. You know what I mean? It's like it's not really a pro YouTube channel. You can see like, you know, I'm coming. I'm just trying to put my 2 cents in or whatnot. However, because the effects of social media are so profound, we have to step up our game. Because of the enemy that we are fighting, they they don't sleep. The devil don't sleep. The devil does not sleep. And while we are wasting time, the devil doesn't waste his time. As a matter of fact, the devil orders us to do things that he doesn't, like waste time. Okay. So 2024, what do we see on the horizon in 2024? We see in this election that's coming up in the States, there's going to be a massive paradigm shift. Black folks are well behind the curve, and we don't have time to try to get everybody on code, on the ball. We ain't nobody got no time for that. Okay? Ain't nobody got no time for that. In 2024, when the new US president gets inaugurated, if he gets inaugurated, okay, if he does, right? I believe it will be Donald Trump. I said it many times. I'm going to say it one more again, okay? It's going to be Donald Trump or somebody like him. It's going to be some far right, alt right president. I think it's last week, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of days ago, anyways. Another alt right president, another one. I believe it's in Colombia. So if you look throughout the world right now, all these countries, all of them, so many countries are getting far right leaders. I don't see why it would be any different in Canada and US. When that happens, you already know, this is what we know as black folk. We know that these governments don't care about us. Okay? We know that very well. We know that they have policies in place to make sure and to ensure that we are meant, or we are kept rather, as permanent underclasses in the West. But they have so many things to deal with right now, they ain't going to be focused on us. So this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. And we have to understand the spiritual implications of this as well. because this is a form of spiritual warfare. When you're using technology now to warp the minds of people en masse by the millions, even by the millions, and you issue edicts, social media edicts, in order for the society to cannibalize itself. Like what happened recently in Indonesia, for example. Just false, like fake media campaigns, random fake media campaigns that caused the Indonesians to go over 100 students, maybe 100, I think it was 130 students, to violently remove Rohingya refugees out of their camps. And we see that happening right now before our eyes. I want y'all in the chat to type number one or type number two for this question that I'm asking. Number one, if you did. Number two, if you didn't. How many of y'all got shared this article about from the Israeli Times about Shamsi being a major Islamic scholar, and how the medically school of thought is compatible with Zionism? How many of y'all got that? Number one, if you did. Number two, if you didn't. Number one, if you did. Number two, did. In the chat, please. I got shared that article so many times. It was ridiculous. Okay, it was from a blog that was, you could say, linked. It's not the Israeli Times. It's a blog that the blog itself has a link. I'm sorry, Israeli Times media outlet has a link to this blog. Okay, I can't count the amount of times I was shared that. So most of y'all ain't been shared that. I guess it's just me because I'm on social media, right? The second I got it, I was like, this is a propaganda campaign. There's no doubt about it. Shamsi's a major Islamic scholar. Shamsi, are you kidding me? An Israeli Times is making an article about the medically madhab being compatible with Zionism. That's what they doing now. Israeli Times is doing this. So you go to the blog. I read the blog. I read the entire blog in entirety. They also talking about, in the same article, mind you, that Daniel Hikikuchu is a jihadist. That's what this is the words that they're using. So the second I saw that, I said, you know what? This is absolutely 100% the ops. Okay? There's no doubt about it. This is the ops. Okay? And they are trying their experiment finally in the West, amongst the Western Muslims, because it works so well amongst Eastern Muslims. It worked incredibly well with the Arab Spring, with the Rohingya massacres, with the Uyghurs, you know, with what's going on in Ethiopia. This social media campaign, it works wonders. Wonders. Very cheap way to cause dissent amongst the masses. I can't count. I don't know how many times I will share that article. You know, alhamdulillah, Allah saved a lot of you from it, but I was tested with it. Okay, and I knew right away this is absolutely ops. 100%, this is the ops. Like who can't like who's taking this thing serious? I didn't know who was taking this serious, but apparently people are taking it seriously because the amount of times I was sharing it, they're taking this stuff serious. And you don't know what these people are doing. Have you not learned what these people how these people are? This is what if I wanted to cause dissent amongst the Muslims, this is exactly how I would do it. He didn't mention not he meant sorry, I can't say that. He mentioned one real scholar. He made the author of the article quoted Sheikh Albani, rahimahullah. If I wanted the Muslims to hate Salafis and hate Sheikh Albani and to cause dissent amongst the Muslims, very easy way to do it. Just get some Zionist, okay, to write an article that is pro Medkhali and call Shamsi, a major Islamic scholar, call Shamsi a major. Wait. Call Shamsi a major Islamic scholars.
Emotional damage.
Y'all hearing me? And of course, your idiot YouTubian that elites, the most biggest idiot, in my opinion, the biggest idiot with social media who calls himself a scholar on any Islamic platform, in my humble opinion, is Asrar Rashid. Somebody said I said that too, please. Somebody tell me I said it. He is the biggest buffoon I've ever seen on social media that calls himself a scholar. I don't know anybody more idiotic than this ass. And I don't understand. It's beyond human comprehension how anybody follows somebody like him and takes him seriously as a scholar. Asrar Rashid. If you don't know who he is, Allah has truly blessed you. Unfortunately, I gotta know who he is because people share stuff to me. But anyways, all you need to know is the damn fool, and he gotta be the first one to respond to this very clearly op-ed. It's an op-ed. Okay, the ops op-ed.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Okay, that's what it is. So be like, why are you mentioning all this? Because if this is starting to happen now with all the stuff that is going on with the Palestinian protests, and we talked about the Palestinian protests, we said not only are they now forget about, because before we're saying they're very prone to infiltration, but now forget it, they infiltrated. They done been infiltrated. Okay, the things that they are doing right now, like talking about, it's not about even shooting yourself in the foot right now. Shooting yourself in the big toe, the little toe, the middle toe, the metatarsal, everything. The foot's done blown clean off with these protests. Okay, foot's done blown clean off. Those protests are just full-fledged infiltration jobs now. Those protests, the reason why I mentioned it, because those protests now are going to be used as talking points in these elections. Mark my words. Mark my words. They're going to be used either blatantly or in a type of off-color way, where they won't mention them directly. They're just going to say, people in our country who are making all these noise that they can't do in their country, all this kind of stuff. That's how they're going to, you know how the enemy is. Black folks know how the enemy is anyways. We know very well. In some underhanded way, this will become a talking point in these elections. Mark my words. You heard it here first. Okay? When it does, you're going to see more articles Like this op-ed that got shared to me a billion times. Okay. You're going to see more of this stuff to cause more dissension amongst Western Muslims. And it is imperative that black folks just stay out of it. Just stay out of it. If you are black and you're a Muslim, mind your own black business. Mind your own black business. Leave those protesters alone, okay? And we have our policy is we don't really blame the protesters like that. But this stuff is over the top. It's totally over the top what these protesters are doing in the West. Over the top. No, who's telling you to do what you're doing? Who is organizing these? Do you know who's organized these protests? Do you know the organizer? One organizer in Quebec was arrested last week. The dude is like 20 something. These are your Muslim leaders. These are the leaders of the protest now. Ain't nobody heard of these people. You will see more of this stuff. Trust me, in 2024, you won't see more of this stuff. You heard it here first. Because it's just too easy. It's too easy to rile people up on social media. And your YouTubian daddy elites, they about to get rich. They about to get rich off of this stuff, man. Believe me. So you black folk, just mind your black business. Don't involve yourself in any of this stuff. And as for us, we got to level up. This is our opportunity to level up. Let them fight amongst themselves. For black folk, the fighting amongst ourselves, those days they're finished. They're finished. We ain't trying to fight y'all anymore. We're trying to fight amongst ourselves anymore. We're trying to build. And it starts with building relationships. And you build relationships by talking to people, by actually doing stuff, by listening, by humbling yourself, losing the arrogance, relinquishing things that just waste your time, like argumentation. It's not necessary for you to and those who know me know me. When Negro starts talking dumb to me, I don't argue with them. Why I need to waste my time and lose my peace because you want to argue? If you have a point to make it. If you start talking stupid, I don't have to waste my time on you. I really don't. You do you. You like to go down these social media rabbit holes and turn your brain into mush. That's a you problem. I ain't trying to save you. I don't need to argue with you with no Daniel Hickey get you or nothing like that. I made the whole playlist is there. If you want to watch it, you're free to watch it. All the receipts are right there for you. Why I need to repeat myself because you refuse to watch the material that I researched and put out, and then you got the nerve to ask me, where's my proof?
This is a sick Negro.
Y'all hear me? But anyways, family, I don't want to talk too long because it's already 9 o'clock. I got to work tomorrow. But inshallah, as for the lives, we're going to do them Thursday. I think we're going to start doing them Thursday, Saturday, and either Sunday or Monday. That's for the lives. We're going to get more structured, inshallah. right? Because we have to kind of level up the channel. You know, lives are good for like the core audience, and we're going to try to grow the channel. So I need y'all to help with the likes and the subscribes and the shares and getting the word out about the channel and stuff like that. And then we got to start, getting really focused on research topics, longer form videos and shorts and stuff like that for the channel, inshallah. Right. So I'm going to see y'all on Thursday, inshallah. Subhanallah, wa shara la ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.